Right now at noon, new details about what led up to a deadly wrong-way crash on I-5 that shut down traffic for hours this morning.
It's extremely heartbreaking for the families and for the victims.
And happening now, a trial begins for a former Southwest Washington fire chief accused of sexually assaulting at least 3 children. Plus, as growing conflict erupts across the Middle East, gas prices surge across the U.S. And just a month after he was named Super Bowl MVP, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker is out. Find out where he's heading to next. Developing in Northeast Portland today, police are investigating an overnight shooting that left one man with life-threatening injuries. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Domerat. The shooting happened on Northeast 148th and East Burnside. That's where we find Thomas Schultz. Thomas, what have you learned so far?
Completely open here on Northeast 148th and East Burnside, which is good news for a lot of pedestrians, drivers, and also people commuting back and forth on the Max Blue Line. Police first arrived here on scene around 1:40 this morning and found this red truck riddled with bullet holes. Police say a man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and because of the severity of the shooting, homicide detectives also responded on scene. Portland Police's mobile command unit was here too, as the investigation stretched on for more than 7 hours, closing roads around Northeast 148th and East Burnside. That caused big problems this morning for drivers and pedestrians as they couldn't cross this really busy intersection. It also led to delays for MAX lines too. The blue line couldn't pick up riders at the intersection, and the green, orange, and yellow line faced delays too. Still, there's a lot we don't know. We don't know exactly what led up to the shooting. There also has not been any arrest made. Portland police say that anybody with information about what exactly led up to the shooting or information on who any suspects may be should contact them. Stephanie?
All right, Thomas, thank you for that report. Meanwhile, WSP is working to figure out what caused a wrong-way crash that killed 2 drivers along I-5 this morning. This happened around 3:30 this morning. According to Washington State Patrol, a 40-year-old driver from Washington was going the wrong way on northbound I-5 near the Battleground exit. Troopers say that is when she hit a 30-year-old Portland man head-on. Both died at the scene. As you can see here, the crash shut down all northbound lanes of I-5 for several hours before reopening around 8 o'clock this morning. We are still waiting to learn the identity of the driver that was hit and killed. Happening right now, a trial is underway for a Southwest Washington fire chief accused of child sex crimes. According to court documents, Jeffrey Archer is accused of raping and molesting at least 3 children from 2013 to 2019 while he was babysitting them at his home. One victim says Archer raped them every weekend for 3 months in 2019. Another said they couldn't remember how often it happened because it happened so frequently. In the days after Archer's arrest on January 9th, at least 5 more potential victims have come forward. They spoke to Pacific County Sheriff Daniel Garcia about this back in January. Here's what he had to say.
Especially now the number reaching up to 8, it's extremely heartbreaking for the families and for the victims. So hopefully everything that we do is to help them with justice and some sort of solace.
Archer has been in jail with $500,000 bond since his arrest. He was placed on administrative leave in January. The assistant fire chief is now serving as interim fire chief. If you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, there is always help available for you. You can call the number you see here on your screen to reach the National Sexual Assault Hotline that is available 24 hours a day. Again, that number is here on your screen. New at noon, Live Nation's antitrust battle with the federal government might be over. According to CNN, the sides have reached a settlement days after beginning their trial. Details of the deal are unclear, and a judge would have to sign off on the plan. Live Nation owns Ticketmaster, which came under fire for botching sales of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour tickets and monopolizing the live events music industry. A month after he was named Super Bowl MVP, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker is leaving the team. He's headed to the Kansas City Chiefs in a 3-year deal reportedly worth up to $45 million. Walker is coming off arguably his best season, of course helping lead the Hawks in a dominant win against the Patriots in Super Bowl 60. He was considered the top running back in free agency this offseason. Seattle declined to franchise tag Walker, which would have paid him $14.2 million next year. Let's give you a live look outside. We're taking you up to the mountain right now. Look at all that snow there for people to enjoy. Rod Hill standing by for us on the KGW weather deck with a look at your weather as we head into your work week. Hi, Rod.
Hey, hello. You know, I feel like we haven't had that many what I would really call cold days on the mountain, but we have one today. Currently, it's pretty quiet up there. You just showed the picture. And we're going to go back to that. I'm up here on the weather deck brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. So far it's been mainly dry here in downtown Portland, but I do feel our shower chances will be picking up during the afternoon. Here's that Timberline camera again. Temperature up there right now is 19 degrees. It was 18 this morning, so it's been holding pretty steady. We have a mixed bag of clean pavement and snow and ice at Cascade Pass level. And we had some snow on this stretch of highway in the Coast Range earlier this morning. Temperature was down to freezing. Now it's up to 39 degrees, but a reminder that we are looking at cold or low snow levels in the Cascades. And that's why you see a mix of white, which is snow, and a mix of green, which is rain showers scattered on our radar. Some live cameras for you. Salem here at noon is 48 degrees. Some breaks in the cloud cover, and Portland also enjoying some breaks in the cloud cover, and our temperature at noon is 46. Stephanie, I have us getting up to maybe 50 or holding at 48 or 49 this afternoon. Again, I think scattered showers will be increasing for your afternoon plans. For now, back to you.
Thank you. Let's give you a look at today's national headlines. The son of Iran's late supreme leader has been named as the Islamic Republic's next ruler. Meantime, the nation is mourning a 7th American service member who U.S. Central Command says died from wounds suffered during an Iranian attack on Saudi Arabia a week ago. Following this weekend's dignified transfer for 6 of the fallen, President Trump acknowledged there may be more.
It's part of war. It's a sad part of war. It's the bad part of war.
Now, this comes as President Trump says he is not ruling out sending U.S. ground troops to Iran. The price of oil is surging, meantime, as the stalemate grows in the Strait of Hormuz. Dozens of oil tankers have been stuck since Iran closed the key passage into the Persian Gulf. Refiners are running out of storage and now having to cut production, driving oil up over $100 a barrel. Now, according to AAA, right now the national average is at $3.48 for a gallon of gas. Oregon sits at $4.20. That's up almost 30 cents from just a week ago. In Washington, a gallon of gas will run you about $4.63 a gallon. Well, we are entering the 4th week of the ongoing partial government shutdown. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security expired on February 13th after Congress failed to reach a deal on immigration enforcement reforms demanded by Democrats. The Senate is expected to vote again on a funding bill today. Passengers at airports around the country are experiencing long lines at security checkpoints. That's because of that partial shutdown we mentioned. It impacts TSA. Agents are once again working without pay while Congress debates the funding over DHS. Some travelers had to deal with up to 3-hour security wait times at Houston's airport.
How long has it been, guys?
3 hours probably.
3 hours? How frustrating has this been?
Well, I just think it's just bad. It's just bad business. I don't really understand we know what's going on, but I think it needs to be cleaned up.
Are you going to miss your flight?
Probably.
The TSA recommends passengers arrive 4 to 5 hours before their flight to ensure they will get through screening in time for their flights. Well, this week in Olympia, Democratic lawmakers are poised to give final approval to a so-called millionaire's tax. Governor Ferguson says he will sign the latest version of the bill before the final day of the legislative session on Thursday. Here's a look at some of those key changes. It would make nearly 500,000 more households eligible for the Working Families Tax Credit. It would also boost funding for childcare and early learning, provide free school breakfast and lunch for all K through 12 students, and eliminate sales tax on the over-the-counter medications. Debate is expected to resume today on the House floor.
I declare the 2026 regular session of the 83rd Legislative Assembly is adjourned. Sine die.
This year's legislative short session has officially come to a close in Oregon. Before the session ended, lawmakers passed bills related to transportation funding, immigration protection, and the economy, just to name a few. But they all still need the governor's signature. In a last-minute addition, senators unanimously passed a stripped-down version of Measure 114, the controversial gun control law that has been held up in court since 2022. Some Republicans celebrated the bill's passing, saying they'd successfully removed its, quote, harmful gun control regulations.
The reality is there was a conversation between myself and the Senate president that made it clear that the Republicans would not abide by having that bill moved to the Senate floor.
Lawmakers also passed a bill moving the transportation tax referendum to the May ballot. Republicans are fighting that one in court, saying the measure should be on the November ballot. Lawmakers also approve a bill allocating hundreds of millions of dollars toward renovations at the Moda Center.